Hey, this is a big sports week and sports weekend coming up. I'm talking college basketball and golf, college tournament time in college hoops. The teams are all getting their tickets punched, so to speak. This Sunday, they all get the seed announcements for the tournament. But now through Sunday, the conference tournaments. That's how this works. Make the BetPark Sportsbook app your go-to. Get in on all the action. It's already a great weekend and headed into a great weekend. There are over 30 college basketball games starting today. 11 a.m. Philly time. The last game starts tonight at 11:30. Make a BetParks futures wager. How about this? The current BetParks odds. I was talking about the presidential odds yesterday. Now I'm talking about the BetParks college team who will win on April 3rd. Houston's a 6-1. Kansas is a 9-1. Bama a 9-1. Purdue 11-1. UCLA 14-1. TC's favorite Gonzaga. Gonzaga.
I just love this time of year.
It's also a great golf time of year because Sawgrass is beginning today with $25 million in purse money. Bottom line is this. BetParks is an official betting operator of the PGA Tour. Rory McIlroy, by the way, John Rahm favorites at 9-1. You got to be 21 or older and in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. And, of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. But thanks to our friends at BetParks, get in on that action. Time now for the headlines from Smerconish.com, the newsletter. TC, a lot of celebrity news made the cut.
Seriously.
Today at Smerconish.com.
What's going on? People behaving badly, people behaving well. Just a lot.
Had to go with the Tiger. Story. Now, does he go into your behaving well or behaving badly category?
Why is it his behavior and not hers that we're talking about?
Oh. What did she do?
I have absolutely no idea. You know, I think this is one of these examples of we have absolutely no idea what actually went on here. But boy, the headlines are salacious.
So he wasn't married to her.
No,
he was not married to her. They had an agreement between themselves. You had some confusion.
I had a legal question.
You know what? I'm not making fun of you because you got taken in by the way the Daily Mail wrote the story. They wrote this hoping to be, what do I want to say? Provocative,
correct,
titillating.
Right.
Because
oral.
Yeah, because they said the complaint says that she provided, listen to just this graph. The complaint says that she provided valuable services at Wood's requests.
Okay, yeah, right.
As part of an oral tenancy agreement. You're like, what?
Right.
What kind of deal did they have?
Correct.
Right?
So the assumption is she wasn't doing his laundry, right? I mean, this is like what exactly are we talking about here?
It simply means that her rights as a tenant were not reduced to writing, but part of an oral agreement. And get your minds out of the gutter if you all thought otherwise.
So in other words, it's like, hey, Tiger, like even if we break up, I can live here for a while, like that kind of thing?
According to Herman, there were 5 years left on the oral agreement for her to live at the property when Woods engaged in prohibited practices.
Okay, again.
Written to be titillating.
Completely.
Written to be titillating.
And furthermore, the whole NDA thing.
She checked that box.
She checked that box. You have to check the box.
Explain.
So I didn't know this, but now, according to the news reports, these NDAs, is it every NDA? An NDA can be nullified if there are allegations of sexual abuse or sexual misconduct. And therefore, in order to ask for an NDA to be nullified, you have to say there was sexual abuse, and she did.
Without any detail, because she simply
detail.
On the form has to literally check yes to the box.
And she did. So the question is, what went on? Did something go on? How about the way that he gave her the boot? Okay,
right? She plans a vacation,
allegedly.
And then apparently, she says in papers filed in October that former world number one Woods persuaded her to go on a short vacation. When she got to the airport, his representatives, his people, this whole thing is just told her she'd been locked out. Like enjoy Disney,
right? And by the way, when
Disney,
you get back,
but when you come back,
you got to go somewhere else.
The locks have been changed,
and we moved all your stuff out. And there's some question about the money.
That's the sad celebrity story posted at Smerconish.com. It's a huge story.
Can we all just reserve judgment? No one knows what actually went on here, so everyone just tamper it down.
I love watching Tiger play. Love watching Tiger.
Is this going to get in his head?
It'll
'Cause
probably
he was
get in
about
his
to-
head, but let me ask you a different question. Is it
Yeah.
going to stop is it going to stop the hordes from
No.
following him? Guys like me, hole to hole to hole? No. No, it will not.
No, it will not.
Okay, the happy story.
There's a happy story?
The happy story,
Great.
yeah. There's a paywall there, but I'm going to read you 3 paragraphs because I want you to enjoy this.
Oh.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is profiled in The Atlantic
Yes.
by Mark Leibovich, who also hangs his hat at the New York Times. Leibovich has been a frequent guest on the program, and Arnold has been a friend in the past. It's really
Wait. What do you mean in the past?
well. I think I'm all good with Arnold, but I really don't know.
I literally got a text from my sister a few weeks ago. You made passing reference.
Yeah.
She's like, "What's the deal with like his falling out with all these celebrities?" And I was like, "Okay,
I've not had a falling out with Arnold. Arnold is still my man.
Okay, good."
So Leibovich gets to spend some quality time with Arnold and then talk about what it's like to be in his presence. The peg for the story is that Arnold is 75 now. So, he's in a reflective mood. But just to capture the scene, Schwarzenegger, he's now talking about Arnold biking 3 miles to Gold's Gym in Santa Monica. Schwarzenegger does not wear a helmet and seems to enjoy being recognized, startling commuters with drive-by cameos. He describes his ride as a kind of vigorous nostalgia trip, a time when the former Mr. Universe, Terminator, Barbarian, Governor of California, etc., one of the strangest and most potent alloys of American celebrity ever forged, can reconnect with something in the neighborhood of a pedestrian existence. It's like a Norman Rockwell, Schwarzenegger told me. We talk to the bus driver, we do the garbage men, the construction worker. Everybody's got their beautiful, beautiful jobs and professions. These days, Schwarzenegger's own beautiful profession is to essentially be an emeritus vision of himself. We made it intact to Gold's Gym in Venice, the birthplace of bodybuilding in the 60s and 70s, and a cathedral to the sport ever since. Schwarzenegger will always be synonymous with the place and with the spectacle of specimens at nearby Muscle Beach. By the way, have you ever been? Have you ever done this trip?
I've never.
Got to do it. I've worked out at Gold's and have been to Muscle Beach back in the day. Just totally caught up in it.
What is your comparison level to the bodies there?
Mine?
I mean, they're like insane, right? No, but I'm just asking.
What's yours? What are you asking me that for?
No.
But Venice Gold's is a tourist attraction.
Well, that's
a Sirius gym.
But I'm asking you, like, is it a freak show?
There are a lot of characters. Okay, here. Let me read the final paragraph. Read the final paragraph. Say hi to Heidi, Schwarzenegger told me, pointing to an 82-year-old Heidi Sutter who was working out in a skin-tight tracksuit.
Bless her.
She is a landmark, he said. She's actually the girl who is sitting on my shoulder in the Pumping Iron book.
No
she
way.
She was topless in the shot. Perhaps, and then Leibovich writes, perhaps I recognized her. Not immediately, no. I didn't even realize that Pumping Iron was a book. I knew it only as a movie. The 1977 documentary about the fanatical culture of bodybuilding. Everybody Wants to Live Forever went the opening refrain of the title song. Schwarzenegger was then 28, was the star of the film, and a testament to the idea that humans could mold themselves into gods, bulging comic book gods, but gods nonetheless. It's great. Go read it. I can't do anything about the paywall. All right, from CNN, what is the deal on this? Harry and Meghan's daughter, Lilibet, has been christened. That's a good thing.
Okay.
Why does she get a title if they abandoned the homeland?
She gets a title because it's passed down from the father. So interestingly, when it was the Queen was queen, they didn't get a title. But now that it's King Charles, it goes from the king to Harry, and it's prince and princess.
But they
said it's their birthright.
Can't we skip Harry and Meghan?
Harry and Meghan are not prince and princess.
But they're Duke and Duchess.
Why do you have a problem with this?
Because they walked out on their responsibilities. I'm all for Lilibet. Like, I'll give her a title.
Okay, that's what we're talking about.
But free Harry.
Oh boy.
Free Harry. By the way, I worked out in my Free Harry shirt yesterday. I did a Peloton class while I was watching the MH370 special on Netflix. I want to tell the audience if they buy.
And were you also watching the 5? I'm just asking.
It was before the 5. If they buy the Free Harry shirts, they run true to size.
Yeah,
There's really
they're
not shrinkage.
super soft.
They're super soft.
They're really soft.
Do you wear a Free Harry? Why won't you be photographed in a Free Harry
I
T-shirt?
may or may not have one.
Why wouldn't you be
I may or may
photographed
not
in
support
it?
the cause.
Yeah.
I may or may not support Smerch merch, even if I don't believe in it. Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't believe in it.
Okay, wait. So you were wearing that yesterday while you were working out?
Yes.
Okay, now so I have another wardrobe question
Please.
for you.
Yeah.
What you got on that lapel over there?
I'm so glad you asked because I want to talk about this. I am wearing this is
like
my
blurring
my
across the
silver foot pin.
Oh,
yeah,
now
I'm
I
wearing
recognize it.
And I must say I'm making
Hang on.
good. This is my tribute to President George Herbert Walker Bush. And I must tell you, TC.
Wait. I'm trying to find audio. Hang on.
I must tell you. Wait, I want to tell the story. I want to
Okay.
tell the story. I must tell you
But
that
then can I play it?
Yeah, after I tell the story,
Okay.
TC. I am making good use of this pin because a moth, this is one of my favorite sport coats that I'm wearing. This is one of my TV blazers. Like I have some sport coats that are good for TV and some that are not good for TV.
Okay.
This was formerly a good for TV blazer.
And then?
A moth right frickin' there ate a hole through my blazer.
Is that why you have the lapel pin there?
So I put because I would typically put the lapel over here on my left side over my heart, right?
Is it okay to have it there?
I'm telling you, there's a hole.
Off.
There's a hole there. I'm covering the hole in my blazer with the pin.
Can you fix it?
Fix what?
The hole.
No. If I could, I'd have it on my left side. Okay, anyway, the pin was given to me by my friend Bill Bagnell. Bill Bagnell is the son of Reds Bagnell. Reds Bagnell was a legendary Penn football player and friend of Bush 41. I've told this before.
Yes.
So in going through Reds is gone. In going through his father's belongings, Bill, the son, found this pin that was given to his dad by President Bush. And he said, I think you would enjoy this. I'd like you to have it. I'm like, I'll wear this in memory of your dad and George Bush.
Proudly.
Proudly.
And with some amusement.
But yes,
and respect.
The backstory is that in 1988, when Vice President Bush was running for the presidency, Ann Richards, Richards or Richardson? Richards. Ann Richards was the governor of Texas, different era, right? Democratic governor of Texas. She delivers the keynote address at the Democratic National Convention, and she was fabulous and had a very famous line about Bush 41 that brought the house down. You may play it.
Poor George. He can't help it. He was born with a silver foot in his mouth.
Hysterical and perfectly delivered. You have to look at her. She looks glamorous. She looks great, right?
And
her timing.
She's way up there, and it is the huge audience.
Poor George. And then she waits for it. He can't help it, and she waits.
Perfect.
The timing impeccable. Okay.
Pacing,
okay.
perfect.
Guess who loved the line? George Bush.
How could you
George
not?
Bush.
If you don't love that line, you don't have a sense of humor.
Right.
It is so good.
It's like Walter Mondale laughing when Reagan says, I'm not going to hold my opponent's youth and inexperience against him.
Yep.
So, okay. So George Bush.
I'm so glad you have that.
So George Bush has silver foot pins made, and he gives them to his friends, including Reds Bagnell, and now I'm wearing it.
It's just perfect.
Wait, there's a footnote to this.
A what?
There's a footnote to this because when I went looking for a little information to remind myself of the circumstances, I found this. President-elect Bush has sent Ann Richards a handwritten peace offering and a tiny silver pin shaped like a foot. Ms. Richards, the Texas State Treasurer, declared in her keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention, then they repeat the line, after the election on November 8, Ms. Richards sent Mr. Bush a telegram wishing him the very best in his new administration. He wrote to her a note dated November 21 saying, you've probably received 100 of these feet, but I want you to have this one from me a peace offering.
I just love the whole thing. I cannot believe it's sitting
The
right on
greatest.
your lapel.
Yeah.
I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah, I'm glad I noticed it. It was
Thank
like,
you for asking.
Now I completely understand what it was, but from across the room, I couldn't tell.
TC, more headlines from Smerconish.com, the newsletter?
Yes, please.
Couple of quickies. So as I'm about to reach a milestone marking, the French have just raised the retirement age from 62 to 64, and people are going batshit over
Why
this.
are they going so crazy over
They're
this?
going crazy
It's 2 years.
because they're pensioners. They're pensioners and they want to retire.
I guess so.
Like
I was
the idea,
so shocked.
The idea, and they're like all people in their 50s and 60-ish.
Yeah.
And the idea now of
TikTok.
having to work 2 more years has
Yeah.
got them all undone.
Yeah, big time.
Okay, the local story to us that emanates from a Montgomery County pizza shop.
This is crazy.
TikTok vigilantes. Can you help me explain this?
Yeah, so
Because there's also a paywall in this, but you got to hear the story.
yeah, so the issue was that there was in a Montgomery County pizza shop, there was a television that was tuned to a Spanish language station. And a woman went in and
Was it Scornos?
had some kind of tirade about why is it on a Spanish language station, was completely racist and terrible about it. And the someone filmed the video of the woman, and then of course, as people are wont to do, they tried to figure out the identity of the woman.
In other words, it goes viral, and
Right.
people want to figure out
Right.
who's the racist.
Correct. And so before she was identified and charged, by the way, there were 3 other women who had the bad luck of being blonde accountants in Montgomery County, which was how she was identified, that were then doxxed. And when someone is doxxed, that means that their identifying characteristics, their phone number, their address is put online. And they had death threats. They had threats against them. They had terrible things said to them. They were not the racist woman. They were not the racist
But
woman.
online, they got punished.
But online, they got punished. And it's just a really, really interesting piece about how these vigilantisms, quote, tend to reward speed and ease over accuracy. So kind of bada bing, bada bing. Oh, here she is, but it's not.
And how do you unwind that? How do you
Terrible.
unwind that when all of a sudden you've been identified and
Yeah.
that footprint lasts forever?
Right.
It's going to follow them around.
Yeah.
And, the police were warning people, hey, these are not the ones,
Right.
please stop
Right.
it, and so on
Right.
and so forth. But,
Terrible.
But it takes on a whole life of its own
Yeah.
in the blogosphere.
Yep.
Finally, good news from New Hampshire. I told the story a couple of days ago about Toblerone. Love Toblerone. And the Swiss now say, with regard to Toblerone chocolate, take the Matterhorn off, because unless the chocolate comes from Switzerland, you can't use our Swiss landmarks to market your product. Okay. In New Hampshire, the law is that you can only sell booze that was purchased in New Hampshire, creating a problem for Amtrak because the Downeaster, we call the Northeaster,
Yeah, the
Downeaster. The Downeaster coming through New Hampshire, they sell beer on Amtrak trains. So this was now an issue, and the announcement was they weren't going to be able to do it. The good news is there's been a quick reversal.
They must have had just a hue and cry.
Right.
People must have had a total fit. I was picturing myself, like, as the train started coming into New Hampshire, buying like 3 beers and going back to my seat.
I always like getting just a beer and a bag of chips.
Yeah,
When
that's
I'm
your
at
thing.
Amtrak. That is my thing.
You always have a thing.
Passengers aboard. Here's my thing. My foot. All right. Passengers aboard the Amtrak Downeaster will be able to continue purchasing alcoholic drinks from the cafe car while passing through New Hampshire on an interim basis while the train's culinary vendor sorts through the licensing issue. Finally, at Smerconish.com, Dr. Christine Collins was like a 3-week intern for me, and we loved having her around.
We miss her.
She
every
and
day.
Dr. Rachel Haraz, I hope I'm doing right by that pronunciation, surviving the supplement aisle. Over the counter does not mean safe. What a great primer on this whole aspect of our lives. Here's your tease. Before you grab a bottle of vitamins off the shelf, be wary of the lack of regulation and oversight for dietary supplements in the U.S. They explain in this piece that unlike prescription drugs, supplements are not required to undergo testing to ensure their safety before being sold and often contain inaccurately labeled ingredients. Luckily, the article is here to help you navigate the supplements more safely. Finally, TC After Dark.
TC
You're
After
visiting
Dark.
a local treasure.
Longwood
remember,
Gardens.
remember when we had a feature and we talked about those things in our own backyard that like company come and they go see, but you ignore.
This is exactly what TC After Dark is about. It's about, I went to Longwood Gardens. I talked to someone from Longwood Gardens. So it's about this incredible, incredible heritage garden site in our own backyard, which I had never been to. But it's a bigger message than that. And that's exactly what you just said. And we used to have people write in from all over the country and suggest different places to go visit. And then you would, it was on a Friday, right?
Yeah.
Every Friday with the morning show, you would interview someone about a local treasure from, Nebraska.
My
or
recollection
wherever.
is we started before the show was syndicated, we started in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
our own local treasures.
Right.
And did it for a whole summer.
Right.
Then the show goes national and we say like, hey, where in
else?
your neighborhood is there something really cool that you want to flag?
And that's the whole point,
Maybe we'll have to
Michael.
bring that back.
I have been living here for 20-odd years and had never been to Longwood
Oh,
Gardens.
my God.
That's ridiculous.
Today's poll question at Smerconish.com: should candidates who lose in a primary be permitted to run in the same general election as an independent or third-party candidate? Go vote. Go listen to TC After Dark. See ya.